God is speaking to you in this moment with a clarity that is meant to reach directly into the center of your spirit, because He knows what has been weighing on your heart, what has kept you awake at night, and what you have been silently praying for while pretending you are fine in front of others. God says this message is urgent, and it is meant for you right now, not later, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, but now, because the timing of this message is woven into something divine that is unfolding around you. God says your miracle is moving toward you, closer than your breath, and in exactly the moment you finish receiving this message, a shift begins. He says there is a secret you must understand because what is coming for you is not ordinary. And the next few moments of your life matter more than you realize. God says you have been standing at the doorway of something new without knowing how close you truly are. You have been feeling a strange pull, an unusual heaviness, a sense that something is changing even if you cannot explain it. That is not your imagination. That is not coincidence. That is God preparing your spirit. He says the miracle that has been delayed, the blessing that seemed blocked, the answer that felt silent, none of it disappeared. It was being aligned, curated, shaped for your good. But before you receive it, before you witness what God is about to reveal, He needs your heart to be open to what He is whispering right now. God says someone has been praying for you even when you didn't know it. Someone has been spiritually covering you because they saw something around you that you could not see. This is why God says to open this message before it is too late, because the protection, the guidance, the clarity, and the divine timing that He aligned for you today is part of something bigger than your current understanding. God says He is not warning you to frighten you, but to awaken you. He says you will be safe, nothing will harm you, and nothing will go wrong for you as long as you stay connected to Him. But He needs you to know that tonight carries spiritual significance. He says bad news tries to reach the place where your peace lives. But it cannot enter when your spirit is prepared and covered. That is why He brought you to this exact moment. God says the reason you feel like you must read this is because your spirit already knows it is connected to something divine. Something inside you recognizes that this message carries a frequency of urgency, love, protection, and promise. God has seen every tear you wiped away in silence. He has seen the moments you tried to appear strong even when you were tired. He has seen the secrets you carry in your heart, the disappointments you never told anyone, the love you gave that wasn't valued, the dreams you had to bury because the world around you wasn't ready to see them rise. He says none of it was wasted. Not a single moment. You are stepping into a new season, and God says the enemy tried to enter your life through confusion, delays, and discouragement. That is why these past days felt heavy, why your energy felt drained, why your hope felt shaken. This was not punishment. This was preparation. God says the pressure you felt was creating the spiritual strength you needed for what is coming next. He says your miracle is so close that heaven has been rearranging things in your favor. Someone has been thinking about you. Someone has been feeling drawn to help you, support you, bless you, and God says this person's heart was stirred by Him, not by chance. God says there is a secret connected to your next blessing, and He will reveal it within minutes after you truly receive this message with your whole heart. The reason God is emphasizing urgency is because the spiritual atmosphere around you today is sensitive, and your openness determines how quickly your blessing will manifest. God says your miracle is time-bound. When heaven schedules something for you, nothing on earth can stop it, but your attention matters, your willingness matters, your readiness matters. God says tonight would have been filled with emotional heaviness if you ignored this message, not because something bad will happen physically, but because your spirit would have missed the alignment meant to release your miracle. The bad news God speaks of is the heaviness of missed blessings, the sorrow of spiritual misalignment, the emotional weight of delayed breakthroughs. God says that is why He brought you here, at this moment, in this exact second, because He is preventing you from falling into that heaviness. God says someone tried to speak negatively about your future. Their words carried energy that tried to attach itself to your path. But God did not allow it. He blocked it, redirected it, dissolved it. He says you have no idea how many invisible battles He has already fought for you. There is a reason you survived things that could have broken others. There is a reason your spirit is still shining even after everything you have been through. There is a reason you are still standing, still hoping, still waiting. God says this is because you were chosen, guided, and protected long before you even knew how deeply He had His hand on your life. God says there is something He has kept hidden from you, not to confuse you, but to protect you until the timing was right. That timing is now. The miracle coming your way is not small. It is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is a breakthrough that carries permanence, elevation, renewal, and divine restoration. God says someone will step into your life carrying an opportunity, a blessing, a message, or a connection that will shift the direction of your future. You have been waiting for something meaningful. Something that finally feels like it was designed for you. God says this is it. God says your finances, your relationships, your emotional peace, and your spiritual alignment are all entering a phase of renewal. You may have felt stuck, overlooked, or forgotten, but heaven has never forgotten you. God says He is about to reveal why you had to wait so long, why certain people left, why certain relationships didn't work, why certain opportunities fell through. He says all of it was protection leading you towards something far better. God says you are safe. He repeats this because He knows the kind of mind you have, the kind that overthinks, the kind that worries, the kind that cares deeply. The kind that sometimes fears the worst even when you try to stay positive. God says do not fear tonight. Do not fear the unknown. Do not fear what you cannot see. He has already stepped ahead of you. He has already placed His light in the dark places. He has already placed His peace over your home. He has already surrounded you with invisible protection. God says this message found you because you were meant to receive divine reassurance before the miracle arrives. He says your spirit needed this clarity, this comfort, this confirmation. You have been feeling something inside you shifting, moments of sudden emotion, moments of sudden intuition, moments where your heart felt pulled toward something unseen. God says this is your sign. This is the moment your life begins to shift. God says someone is thinking of you right now, someone whose presence will play a role in your blessing. Someone is being guided toward you. A message, a call, an opportunity, or a connection will arise unexpectedly. God says do not doubt it. He is aligning everything. Even the delays are divine. Even the waiting has purpose. Even the silence has meaning. God says this message is not random. It is a spiritual appointment. He says your miracle begins unfolding 5 minutes after your heart accepts this message, because that is when your energy, your faith, and your spiritual alignment fully open. God says trust Him. He has never abandoned you. He has never left you in danger. He has never allowed anything to destroy you. He says your season of suffering is ending. Your nights of confusion are ending. Your silent prayers have been heard. You are safe. You are protected. You are guided. And your miracle is nearer than you think. God says, receive this now, because it was written for you, and only you. God says, this message is being placed before you in this exact moment for a reason you may not fully understand yet, but heaven assures you that it is not random. God is saying that something in your life has reached a turning point, a spiritual threshold, a moment where the unseen becomes visible and the impossible becomes possible. God is saying your miracle will be revealed 5 minutes after your eyes and your heart take in this message. Heaven has aligned this moment for you. You are not reading this by accident, you are not here by coincidence, and you are not hearing these words by mistake. God says, this is the moment that shifts your destiny, but God is also saying, with a voice filled not with threat but with divine seriousness, that skipping this message or taking it lightly will create a spiritual delay around your home. God is not warning you to create fear, God is warning you to create awareness. You are protected, you are safe, and nothing bad will happen to you if you remain in God's presence. But neglecting a divine sign often creates confusion, and this confusion can turn into worry, and worry becomes an open door for darkness to whisper lies. This is why God is urging you to open this now, to receive it with your heart, and to let His protection wrap around your home like a warm shield before tonight. God is saying, do not be afraid. I am with you. I am securing your home, your family, your future, your path, and every breath you take. I only need your trust. I only need your faith. I only need your heart open long enough to receive what heaven is pouring into you right now. The miracle that is coming toward you is not small, not ordinary, not casual. It is something heaven has been preparing for months, even years. Something that was delayed because of people who didn't want to see you rise, but now the delay is ending. God is saying, the miracle belongs to you. It carries your name. It cannot be stolen anymore. Tonight carries spiritual weight. The air around your home will feel different, not because something bad is approaching, but because something big is shifting. God says darkness will try one last time to whisper fear into your heart tonight, but it will fail the moment you anchor yourself in this message. The bad news that tries to come will dissolve before it reaches your doorstep, because God's hand will block it. God says, you are safe. Nothing will touch you. Nothing will harm you. Nothing will shake you. But you must stay under my covering. Don't skip what I am sending. Don't ignore what I am revealing. God knows the battles you've been fighting silently. God knows the nights you cried quietly where no one saw you. God knows the days you carried others while carrying your own burdens. God sees how often you try to be strong even when your heart feels exhausted. God sees the unfair situations where you were blamed for things you didn't do. God sees the people who doubted your worth, the ones who spread confusion about you, the ones who tried to block your blessings without you even knowing. God says, I have seen every moment. I have counted every tear. I have stood beside you when no one else stood with you. This is why heaven says your miracle is not a reward, it is justice. A divine shift. A correction of what was wrong. A restoration of what was taken. A return of what was yours. God is saying, I am turning everything around for you. This is your season of recovery. This is your season of revelation. This is your season of return. And God is doing it in a way that no human hand can interrupt. This miracle will expose the truth you never saw, reveal the opportunities you never expected, and open doors that you didn't even know existed. God says something important. Your life is not standing still. It only felt stuck because I was rearranging the path ahead of you. You will soon understand why certain people left, why certain plans collapsed, and why certain days felt heavy. I wasn't punishing you, I was protecting you. I wasn't delaying you, I was preparing you. I wasn't ignoring you, I was rewriting your future. The miracle that reveals itself in 5 minutes after reading this is connected to your destiny. It will be a sign, a message, an opportunity, or a sudden shift of emotion that will tell you, yes, this was from God. You will feel a wave of clarity, warmth, peace, or a sudden knowing that something is different. Heaven says the shift will either appear externally or awaken internally, but either way, it will be unmistakable. God says, I will show you. I will reveal what is coming. I will guide your spirit. Tonight, God wants you to be calm. If you feel a strange heaviness in the air or a sudden tension, do not mistake it for danger. It is simply the spiritual transition happening in your life. Something old is leaving. Something new is emerging. Something heavy is lifting. Something hidden is being exposed. The old fear tries to rise because it senses that its time is up. But God says, you are protected. Nothing will go wrong. Nothing can enter your home without my permission. My angels stand with you tonight. God wants you to pray before bed tonight, not because something bad will happen, but because your prayer will seal the blessing that heaven has already released for you. God says, "Speak to me." Even one sentence is enough. I hear your voice even when you whisper. God wants your heart open, because something special is coming toward you once this message settles into your spirit. The miracle may look like a sudden message, a sudden opportunity, a sudden shift in your finances, a sudden peace in your heart, or a sudden realization that changes your next step. God is saying, you have been worried about things that are already solved in heaven. The door that seemed closed is already opening. The person who tried to harm you spiritually has already been stopped. The situation that felt unstable is already being stabilized. I am arranging everything behind the scenes. God says He is sending an angelic presence around your home tonight to watch every corner, every doorway, every window, every path leading toward you. Heaven is not taking any chances with you. You are too important. You are too chosen. You are too protected. God says, you are a light, and darkness has no place near you. I am sealing your home with my peace. You may feel a sudden urge to reflect, rest, pray, breathe deeply, or sit in silence for a few moments. That is not random, that is God preparing your spirit to receive the miracle that is being released. The next few hours carry divine timing. Heaven is aligning things for you with precision. God says, do not let fear distract you. Do not let doubt separate you from me. You are safe. Nothing will go wrong. I only want you aware and spiritually awake. God is also revealing that someone who once wished against you will be exposed soon. Not through drama, not through confrontation, but through divine truth rising to the surface. You won't have to say anything. You won't have to prove anything. God is handling it quietly but powerfully. God says, stay calm. Stay open. Stay trusting. Your miracle is coming swiftly, silently, and undeniably. 5 minutes from now, something will shift. You will feel it. God says, this is your moment. Don't skip it. Don't ignore it. Receive it with faith. And heaven whispers again, you are safe. Nothing will go wrong. Trust me. Your miracle is already on the way. God is speaking to you right now in a way you were meant to receive at this exact moment, and everything around you is shifting in the unseen realm because this message is reaching your spirit. God says that the timing is not random, the moment you opened this is not a coincidence, and the reason your heart felt pulled toward these words is because heaven has been waiting for you to pause and receive what is being poured into your life. God says this is an urgent message only for you, and it is arriving before something important unfolds around you. God is saying your miracle will be revealed in 5 minutes after your spirit absorbs what is being spoken over you. And the divine force protecting you will remove every shadow, every fear, and every energy that has been working against your peace. God says this message was not meant for everyone. It was whispered into the atmosphere for you alone, because your journey, your pain, your prayers, your tears, your waiting, your delays, your disappointments, and your hope all carried your name upward to heaven. God saw what you went through, and God did not forget a single moment where you felt alone. God knows you have been carrying too much on your shoulders, and God says that this is the hour He steps closer, touches the burdens you never had the strength to release, and tells you that the miracle you have been asking about is already approved, sealed, and released in the supernatural realm. God says you must open this spiritually before it is too late, because something in the invisible world is shifting at this very second. God says there is a reason this message reached you on November 18th. Heaven is aligning something around your home, your family, your finances, your relationships, and your destiny. You may not see it yet, but there is a stirring taking place, a vibration in the atmosphere, a movement of God's angels around you that is preparing the ground for something extraordinary. God says that you have been waiting for clarity, waiting for direction, waiting for stability, waiting for that one breakthrough that changes everything. And now that breakthrough is walking toward you faster than ever before. God is saying that if you trust Him for just a little longer, He will turn what looked impossible into the biggest testimony of your life. God says you must hear this with the seriousness it deserves, because your spirit has been under pressure, your heart has been heavy, and your mind has been tired. You have been trying to stay strong, trying to keep faith, trying to take the next step even when you felt empty inside, and God says He saw it all. He saw the nights you didn't tell anyone about. He saw the battles inside your mind. He saw the moments you nearly gave up but somehow kept going. God says heaven is proud of you. Heaven has chosen you. Heaven has marked you for a blessing that no person on earth can cancel. The delays you experienced were not denials. They were divine protection. God was blocking certain paths, removing certain people, and closing certain doors so that your miracle would be preserved for the right moment. God says that moment is right now. God says to trust what you are feeling in this moment, because the presence you feel around you is not imagination, it is spiritual confirmation. God is sending comfort, reassurance, and a protective light that surrounds you like a shield. God wants to remind you that you are safe. Nothing will go wrong with you. Nothing will harm you. Nothing will destroy you. You are covered. You are protected. You are held by the hand of God. Even if you felt uncertainty or fear earlier, God says He is stepping in front of every negative energy and stopping it before it reaches your home. God says, however, that if you skip this message, you will miss the spiritual shield He is placing upon you tonight. That is why He is urging you to open this message before it is too late. God is saying that something around your home has been exposed in the spirit, and only this divine intervention can calm the storm that tries to enter your environment. God is not giving you a threat. God is giving you a warning wrapped in protection, reminding you that if you stay aligned, nothing bad can enter your door. God says that someone around you has been sending negative thoughts toward you, maybe without speaking it aloud, but their energy has been affecting your peace. Someone has been thinking things about you that do not match the love God wants you to receive. Someone has been carrying envy, confusion, or hidden intentions, and God says He is dismantling that energy tonight. God is clearing out every harmful vibration from around your home. God is removing the atmosphere that has been draining you. God is placing an unseen barrier between you and every person who tries to pull you down. You may not know who it is yet, but God says the truth will become clear in divine timing. Right now, your only job is to trust God, breathe deeply, and keep your heart in His hands. God says the miracle that will be revealed 5 minutes after you spiritually receive this message will be something you have waited for longer than you want to admit. It may be in the form of sudden clarity, unexpected money, a phone call, a message, a blessing, an idea, a breakthrough, a revelation, or a door that opens without effort. God says this miracle has been in preparation for months. Every delay you faced was pushing you closer to this moment. Heaven has been working behind the scenes, adjusting timelines, moving people, shifting circumstances, and aligning events so that your blessing would reach you in perfect timing. God says the miracle will not be late. It will not be stolen. It will not be cancelled. It will not be delayed any longer. But you must stay spiritually connected for the next few minutes, because heaven is releasing something powerful for you. God says you have been fighting battles that were not yours to fight. You have been trying to fix things only God could fix. You have been trying to heal wounds only God could heal. You have been trying to understand situations that were never your responsibility to understand. God says your heart has been too big and too kind, and sometimes you have carried the weight of others without realizing how heavy it was. God says He is lifting that weight now. He is restoring your spirit. He is healing your heart. He is renewing your hope. But you must let Him do it. You must trust Him. You must relax your soul and allow His light to cover you. God says that tonight, something that once felt unstable will become stable. Something that once felt confusing will become clear. Something that once felt broken will begin to heal. God is shifting your energy tonight. God is cleansing your environment. God is bringing peace where there was tension. God is bringing clarity where there was confusion. God is bringing balance where there was imbalance. God is bringing divine order where there was spiritual chaos. God says your soul will feel lighter than it has in a long time. God says your home is protected. Your spirit is protected. Your future is protected. Your destiny is protected. Nothing bad will touch you as long as you stay aligned with God. That is why He is urging you to read this without skipping. If you skip, you disconnect from the spiritual shield being prepared for you. But if you stay, the protective light will surround you like armor. God says He is sending angels to stand at the corners of your home, watching over every door, every window, every entryway, every room, every shadow, every corner of your environment. You are not alone. You are not vulnerable. You are not unprotected. You are wrapped in the safest spiritual covering. God says that everything you lost, everything that was taken from you, everything that slipped away, everything that broke your heart, everything that disappointed you, everything that confused you, all of it is going to make sense soon. God is turning your pain into purpose. God is turning your weakness into strength. God is turning your fear into wisdom. God is turning your waiting into miracles. God is turning your struggle into testimony. God is turning your past into a blessing disguised as experience. God says what you are about to receive is bigger than what you lost. God says someone tried to block your blessing without even realizing that God already approved it before they even thought about interfering. God says someone underestimated your strength. Someone misjudged your destiny. Someone believed you would break, but God says you have been chosen to rise. You were never meant to fall. You were meant to shine. God says this is your moment. This is your sign. This is your confirmation. This is your divine alignment. Do not doubt it. Do not fear it. Do not question it. Simply breathe and receive it. God says your miracle is already on the way. 5 minutes from now, your spirit will begin to feel the shift. And tonight, nothing bad will come to your home, because God is with you, God is protecting you, and God is surrounding you with divine light. You are safe. You are chosen. You are blessed. You are covered, and God says, trust me, pray to me, stay by me, and everything will unfold in your favor. God is speaking directly to you in this moment, and He is whispering to your spirit with a softness that carries both urgency and deep love. God is saying that the time you have waited for, the blessing you prayed for, the miracle that has been circling your life without landing is finally ready to manifest, but only if you receive this message with full attention. God says your miracle has been released, it has been authorized, and it will be revealed exactly 5 minutes after your heart fully opens to this message. God says this is not a coincidence, it is not an accident. It is a divine appointment arranged for your spirit because heaven knows what you have gone through, what you have endured silently, and what storms you have survived when others thought you would fall. God says you have no idea how close you are to something extraordinary, and that is why the message arriving to you today carries such urgency. God is saying that there are energies moving around your house, around your path, around your destiny, and some of those energies have been heavy, draining, confusing, and trying to block you from seeing the truth of who you are. God is saying that there has been a spiritual delay placed over one specific blessing that belongs to you, but today that delay has been broken. God is saying that angels have been sent to remove the final obstacle that has been standing in the way of your miracle, and that is why this message comes with divine timing. God is saying that your heart must stay open, because something that has been hidden from you is about to be shown clearly, almost like a light shining suddenly into a dark room, revealing everything you could not see before. God says that He has been protecting you all this time, even when you thought you were walking alone. You are safe, nothing will go wrong with you, and everything that seems frightening or unclear right now is part of a spiritual shift taking place in your favor. God says that He has shielded your house, your mind, your spirit, and your future from something that was meant to harm you but could not succeed because His hand was covering you. God says your safety has already been guaranteed, but your awareness must now awaken so you can receive the miracle that is coming. God says the next hours are important, and tonight carries spiritual significance that you cannot ignore. God says He has watched you stay strong when you had every reason to break. He has seen how many nights you cried quietly, hiding your pain from others because you believed that showing your struggle would burden them. God says He watched those moments and covered you gently with peace even when you couldn't feel it. God says you have been misunderstood and judged unfairly by people who never tried to understand your heart. You have been loyal, loving, and honest, yet some individuals around you have not returned that energy. God says there is someone who spoke negatively about you behind your back, someone who doubted you, someone who wished that your blessings would be delayed. But God is saying their words hold no power anymore because heaven has decided that you will rise. God says your miracle is coming in a way that will surprise everyone, including the people who doubted you. God says something you thought you lost forever will return to you in a restored form. God says a door that was closed for a long time is about to open with unexpected speed. God says the opportunity that was taken away from you will be replaced with something far greater. God is telling you that these next moments carry divine importance because the spiritual realm is aligning something in your favor. God says the only danger right now is that you might ignore this message, because skipping it would mean missing a divine alert meant to protect you from something trying to enter your house tonight. God says the bad news that tries to come is not physical danger, but a spiritual disturbance, a moment of emotional heaviness, confusion, or misdirection that could push you away from your miracle if you are not spiritually prepared. God says reading this message fully, receiving it, and keeping your faith active will block that disturbance and keep your home in peace. God says you are safe because He is guarding you, but He needs your awareness to remain open. God says that heaven has been preparing a shift around you, but people around you cannot see what God sees. God says you carry a spiritual light that intimidates certain individuals, and that is why you sometimes feel sudden emotional draining when you enter certain spaces. God says these energies were trying to distract you, confuse you, or make you doubt your worth. But God says that cycle ends today. God says the confusion that tried to follow you in recent days was not your emotion, it was a spiritual interference. God says once you finish reading this message, clarity will return, and peace will overflow into your heart. God says someone recently thought of you intensely, someone who once hurt you or misunderstood you, but their thoughts cannot interfere with your destiny. God says that no matter what they think, say, or try, they do not have authority over your future. Only God does. God says He has already rewritten certain things that were spoken against you. Someone may have spoken negativity, but God replaced it with blessing. Someone may have wished for your struggle, but God replaced it with victory. Someone may have tried to block your happiness, but God expanded your path even wider. God says you were chosen for a reason. You were chosen to carry a spiritual light that others cannot understand. You were chosen because your heart remains pure even after everything you faced. You were chosen because God trusts you with blessings that others mishandled. God says that is why your blessings take time. They are not ordinary blessings, they require preparation, alignment, and the right timing. God says your miracle will be revealed in 5 minutes after your spirit accepts this message, because the final instruction from heaven is being delivered at this very moment. God says you must breathe and calm your heart as He works. God says not to fear what is coming tonight, because nothing will harm you. God says the bad news was only a warning of what would happen if your spirit remained unaligned, but by receiving this message you are already shifting into divine protection. God says your house is covered. Your path is covered. Your future is covered. God says He is standing at the door of your home, watching over you. God says angels have been positioned around your bed, around your windows, around your doorway, ensuring that no negative energy enters. God says you are safe, and nothing will go wrong with you, no matter how strong the spiritual interference tries to appear. God says the reason you feel urgency lately, the sudden heaviness, the feeling that something big is coming, the sense that something unseen is moving around you, is because heaven has been preparing you for a breakthrough so significant that your life will not look the same afterward. God says the miracle has been in motion, but you needed this final alignment. God says He will reveal something important to you soon, through a dream, a sudden thought, a message, or an unexpected sign. God says do not ignore it. God says pay attention to anything unusual that happens tonight or tomorrow morning. It will be part of your confirmation. God says every time you doubted yourself, He was whispering, hold on. Every time you felt alone, He was right beside you. Every time you were rejected, He was redirecting you. Every time something ended, He was making room for something better. God says your tears were prayers. Your silence was a form of strength. Your endurance was the proof that your miracle belongs to you. God says He is not punishing you, He is preparing you. God says the delay was protection. God says the heartbreak was redirection. God says the confusion was temporary. God says the blessing is permanent. God says tonight marks the end of something heavy in your life. It marks the closing of a cycle that kept you trapped in emotional loops. God says after tonight, things will begin moving quickly in your favor. God says expect sudden blessings, sudden clarity, sudden opportunities, sudden breakthroughs, sudden peace. God says someone who never apologized to you will soon wish they treated you better. God says someone who doubted you will soon respect you. God says someone who ignored you will soon wish they had valued you. God says transformation is happening in your life, not slowly, but rapidly. God says the miracle that reveals itself in 5 minutes will shift your energy, your mindset, your outlook, your hope, and your path. God says do not fear. God says trust Him. God says stay calm. God says you are safe. God says you are protected. God says you are blessed. God says He is with you right now. God says this message found you for a divine reason. God says open your heart. Because your miracle is closer than your breath, God says receive it now.